Do you ever wish you had an expert that you could ask to come over, review your code, point out any flaws, and suggest ways how to make it better? Well, now you can, thanks to this amazing skill that I'm going to show you today and how to use it in the Gemini CLI. So here we have a skill that Paul Hudson has created, and he explains what it does and how to use it. And I thought, why not give it a quick try on a piece of code that I've been working on. So I'm going to copy this install command here. And then we're going to go into the terminal and I'm going to install the skill in the current folder, which is in my code base. So first of all, the skills command wants to know how to install that. It has pre-selected a bunch of popular coding agents, and in addition we've got anti-gravity and Claude Code selected. So that is great. Let's go ahead, install it into the current project, use symlinks to make updating easier, and go ahead with the installation. And now we can open Gemini CLI by typing Gemini, and then I can take a look at which skills are currently installed, and I only have this one skill installed. So how do you activate the skill? By just typing something that will lead the agent to activate the skill by inference. For example, please review my app. And in the skill description, there is a piece of text that says that the skill can be used to review applications. And you can see that in the skill description here. It says comprehensively reviews SwiftUI code for best practices on modern APIs, maintainability, and performance. And then when to use it. Use when reading, writing, or reviewing SwiftUI projects. So you can this skill will also trigger when the coding agent needs to write code, but I want to review my application, and that is why I said, please review my app. So apparently that triggers the installation of the skill, and I'm going to allow this for the session. And now the skill is going to review my code, or rather, the coding agent is reviewing my code using the skill. So you can see that it's reading the code, and it refers to the reference material from the SwiftUI Pro skill to perform this review. So if you're wondering what this application is that we're looking at here, it's a read it later / second brain application that I'm working on as a side project. If you want to follow along how I built this application, you can join my live streams that I run pretty much every week unless I'm away for a conference or on vacation. And it's a fun project. I use it for my own work because I also curate a newsletter, and I use that application to drive that whole process. And in the live streams, I implement new features. These days, mostly agentic coding. So here is the review, and you can see that it has a really nice structure. So if we scroll back to the top, you can see here is a comprehensive review of your app, and then it shows us which code it is referring to. And then it says in line 85 to 86, you should be using clip shape instead of corner radius. So that is to make sure that you're using modern APIs. And then it shows you the before and after, which is quite nice. So I can now go in and either make this change manually or ask the agent to implement that change for me. And then we've got this feedback here saying that icon-only buttons are bad for voiceover and you should be using text labels. It also shows you the before and after, and that's really good feedback. So there is more, and then at the end we've got the summary, and it is ordered by priority. So the accessibility issues are high priority because they influence how users who have accessibility needs will be able to use your application. So that's definitely something that you should be looking into with high priority. And then there is a bunch of deprecated APIs that we shouldn't be using, and a couple of feedback about performance issues. Nice. So I can address that feedback, but I wanted to show you the second way to use the skill. And for doing that, we need to switch to the preview version of the Gemini CLI, because this relies on a feature that we implemented just a couple of hours ago, really, enabling skill activation via / commands. So let's go to the Gemini CLI repository to figure out how we can install a preview version. So typically, you would probably want to have the stable version of the Gemini CLI, but in our case, we want the preview version. So I'm going to copy that command, and then we'll install the preview version of Gemini CLI, and then jump back in Gemini. And now, when I type /, you will see that in addition to all the / commands, I can also see the installed skills. So I can now just type tab to autocomplete the name of the skill, and I could hit enter now to activate it, or I could even provide a prompt that I want to send to the skill. Please review my app. Hit enter. It's going to activate the skill and then run my my prompt using that skill. So that's going to take a moment, and I'm going to speed this up in the recording because we've already seen this. And here is the summary of the review. It's similar, but it found a couple of different findings here. It's quite interesting to see that it did not flag the accessibility issues, but it's still the same output, and you can see that it shows you where it found the issue, and it shows you the before and after. So now you know how to use the skill and activate it in Gemini CLI. This is currently in the preview version of the Gemini CLI, which should go to stable in a couple of days. Here it says typically each week on Tuesdays, the team ships the stable version. It's Wednesday today, so that's going to be in a couple of days. But in the meantime, you can use the preview version and use that skill to improve your code, and use the / command to activate the skill if you don't want to rely on using inference to trigger the skill. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.